This is She Creates Business, a podcast for wedding pros. Your host, Kinsey Roberts, interviews incredible women in the wedding industry who are making their mark and creating success on their terms. Join the conversation.
Hey there, welcome to episode 157 of She Creates Business, a podcast for wedding pros. This is your host, Kinsey Roberts. I hope you are having a wonderful day. Happy New Year. Happy 2020. As I record this, we are just a couple of weeks into the new year. This is the first episode of 2020 for me. And so I hope it's going well for you so far. Are you still feeling the new year vibes? I always get really excited at the beginning of a new year, and I'm totally still feeling the new year vibes. I feel like a fresh start is, it just brings so much joy to my heart. So I hope you're feeling that way as well. If you're not, let me know about it. DM me on Instagram. Either way, I'd love to know what kind of goals you've set for yourself and for your business this year. And this is a great episode to kind of help you jumpstart your year. We're talking about how to audit your wedding business for a successful new year or a new quarter. I actually recommend to my clients that they audit their business every quarter and not just once a year, because I think it can help you feel more in control of your wedding business and know exactly what's going on, no matter what the crazy day-to-day becomes, right? You have solid systems in place, you have solid processes, you know what your goals are, you know what went well or didn't go well in the previous quarter. And again, I feel like that just breeds so much control within ourselves, which also helps us feel more confident in our wedding businesses. And control and confidence, organization, those are all keys to a successful business. So I'm going to talk to you today about how you can sit down and audit your own wedding business. And then again, if you do start doing this once a quarter or twice per year, it'll get easier and faster every time, right? So before we dive into the content, I want to let you guys know that this episode and this whole podcast is brought to you and made possible by the Pro Shop. You can find that at shecreatesbusiness.com or shecreatesbusinesspodcast.com rather. I don't even know my own URL. The Pro Shop is a plethora of digital resources for wedding business entrepreneurs, and the content calendar is in there and multiple other products. Each week I'm adding new things, so head on over there. There's some lead magnets in there, the content calendar's in there. There is a wedding planning checklist that's customizable in Canva that you can use in your own wedding business and give to your clients. So a couple of really great things in there for you. I'd love for you to see it. It's at shecreatesbusinesspodcast.com. Let me know how you are using the products in there. Share with me on Instagram. I'd love to see them. Here we go, guys. Let's talk about auditing your business for a successful new year or a successful new quarter. It doesn't matter. You can do this audit at any time. There's nothing special about January 1st, as Laura Casey from Cultivate What Matters says. I love how she says that. So here, what we're going to do is this. The first action item I need you to do is to sit down and assess how you felt at the end of last year or at the end of last quarter about your business. How did you feel? Grab a notebook, grab a pen. I want you to get tactile with this and just write out any thoughts, words, phrases, ideas that come to mind. If you and I were sitting together and I said, okay, write this down. How did you feel about your business last year or last quarter? Don't worry about proper grammar. I don't need you to write in full sentences. Just this is free flow of thought. Write down whatever comes to your mind. And why are we doing this? Why are we going to sit down and make this the first thing that we do? If you've been a longtime listener to the podcast, you know that I'm not super big on feelings. I don't like us to be so precious about our businesses all the time. But what I like about this is that assessing how we felt about our business really helps to inform us about which parts of our business we need to focus on improving and which parts went well. So our thoughts, our feelings, whether we felt totally organized or if we felt in complete chaos, like we were running around like a chicken with our head cut off the entire wedding season, those are all really good indicators of what you're going to need to focus on improving or not improving because it's going well in your wedding business as you go through this audit. So here's 3 questions to kind of help you get started. Let me help you inspire you to kind of write some things down. Did you feel like you were answering the same questions over and over and over again to couples, to vendors, to other clients, to your team? Do you feel like you were answering the same question over and over and over again? Did you feel unorganized in any part of your business? Were you constantly quote, looking for stuff? Were you constantly looking for paper? Were you constantly looking for items you need for event days? Were you constantly trying to dig through your communication because you communicate via Instagram DM and Facebook Instant Messenger and text message? So you were constantly having to check 47 places to try to figure out what you communicated with a couple or certain couples. Did you crush it with your onboarding and your offboarding processes, and you want to repeat exactly what you did and continue to build on that success? Now that you've taken the time to assess your business, so do what I asked you to do, sit down, pen and paper. Again, let's get tactile with it. We're ready to audit your business. We're going to make a plan for what we're going to improve upon and what can be maintained because it went very well. So here are the 4 key areas of your wedding business that we're going to audit today. We're going to audit your marketing. We're going to audit your administrative side. That includes automations, onboarding and offboarding, your employees, etc. We're going to audit your finances, that's taxes, bookkeeping, those types of things. And we're going to audit your event day. So what does event day look like for you in your business? So quick pro tip for you, you can sit down and perform this audit in one full day. So if you want to block off next Tuesday or in 2 weeks from now, a Wednesday, great. Do this full audit. It's going to take you the whole day, and it should if you're really digging in and mapping out new things that you want to change or things you want to maintain. Or you can audit one section per day and take a full week to perform the audit. Do whatever works best for your schedule. There's no right or wrong answer here. If you take a full week and just say from 10 to 2 every day, I'm auditing one section of my business. So Monday's marketing, Tuesday's admin, Wednesday's finances, Thursday's event day. And then you can kind of have Friday to put it all together and see what you got, right? Okay, let's dive in. Let's audit your marketing. The first thing I want you to audit is your website. So don't just look at your website and say, yeah, my website looks pretty. I like it, and move on. That's not what I'm asking you to do. Of course, your website should be visually appealing and definitely pay attention to your aesthetics. We are in the wedding industry. It's an extremely visual industry. We all know that. I don't have to tell you that. But what I really want you to do is gather numerical data on how your website performed in the time period you're auditing. So if you're going to audit a full year, I need you to gather numerical data for a full year. If you're auditing last quarter, then I need you to gather numerical data for the full quarter. So that's 3 months. What I want to make sure you do is that you're changing your filters so that you see a full year of analytics. So you compare year over year performance or quarter over quarter performance. What I don't want you to do is to look at these numbers every day or once a week or twice a week. That's really not helpful to you because it's not a big enough data set for you to get any good indication of how your website is performing when it comes to this numerical data. I shared this on my Instagram stories a couple weeks ago. I showed what it looked like for a 30-day data set. And you might even think 30 days is pretty long, but really it wasn't. I was showing my website on vistaviewevents.com. I was showing the back-end analytics. And if I only looked at a 30-day data set, I was down. My numbers were down, right? I was like 20% less visits. I don't know, 40% less, something like I was all in the red, right? Everything was negative. But when I changed my filter to see how my website performed for the full year, so I could do a year over year comparison, boom, my analytics shot up. Everything was over 50%. I think my website visitors were up like 112% or something like that. And so that's what I want you to really focus on is we have to have big enough data sets to make logical decisions about our website. And a lot of times you need to look at things at least for 90 days to see how things are going. So you can use Google Analytics for this. You can also use your website's internal analytics system. So websites like Squarespace, Showit, Wix, they all have a basic internal analytics system. That no need to get crazy in Google Analytics if that's not really where your head's at right now. I don't want you to go and kind of try to build this whole thing. I'm not telling you not to install Google Analytics. Definitely get there eventually. You need it. But if you don't have it today, it's not the most important thing, especially because as I record this, we are heavy into engagement and booking season. So let's focus on what matters, right? And installing Google Analytics isn't going to actually impact your booking rate this year. I'm not saying it won't eventually, but this year it's not going to. So let's be real. Here's what you kind of want to look for. Where did your website traffic come from? And more importantly, where did your website traffic come from? Then that traffic converted into paying clients. So I'm going to say that one more time. Where did the traffic come from to your website that converts the most paying clients? Who cares if you get a ton of referral traffic from Pinterest if it's not impacting your bottom line in some way? Right? I see a lot of people, and I'm on Pinterest, you guys, and I'm a total fan of Pinterest. I think all wedding businesses should be on Pinterest, but you need to have a plan and a strategy about Pinterest. For me, it's not to book clients. It's to drive clients to our other products, which are physical products and digital products for my wedding venue. It's not to book weddings. You need to understand what your traffic is doing and where the most traffic is converting from. So are you getting the most traffic from Google and those clients are converting? Are you getting the most traffic from Facebook or Instagram and those clients are converting? You see where I'm going with this? Make sure you know where traffic is coming from, where clients are converting. How many total page views did you have? How many unique views did you have, or unique visitors? Your unique visitors number is an important number because it tells you how many different people are visiting your website. So I can account for multiple page views on my own website, but I'm only one person. So it's important for me to understand who those one people are, right? Those are unique visitors. What's your bounce rate? This is a fancy way of saying how long are people staying on your website? And of course, the longer they stay on your website, the more likely it is they're going to contact you. So if you have a really high bounce rate, then I suggest you take a look at that. Why do you have a high bounce rate? Do you have the Google Analytics, I think, is the best for this. Do you have is your bounce rate the highest for people who are coming from Pinterest or Wedding Wire or The Knot? Or is it the highest from people who are coming from Google because they're totally just price shopping? We don't know. Where are those people coming from? And think about what they're seeing on your website. I actually did a website rebrand last year, and our time on site and our pages viewed per visit, so that's how many pages one person looks at while they're at my website, exploded because my website has a lot more to offer. Before I remodeled it, it was very basic. It was black and white. And those were our colors, right? Those are colors of our logo. But we liked kind of just a really simplistic black and white website. We had beautiful photos, but there wasn't a lot for our couples to do once they got on the website. Now my website's full of color. There's tons of places to visit. There's a lot of tabs and photos they can click on. So we have a really low bounce rate. I think it's in the 40 percentile or 50 percentile. So I feel pretty good about that. So what do you need to do after you've gathered all of this data? I want you to notate the areas of your website you've found that really need attention. And now it's time to brainstorm strategies for improvement. And so here's an example of a strategy for improvement. If your time on site is low and visitors are bouncing off really quickly, what can you do to keep people on your website longer? Do you need to write more blog posts? Do you need to make your events page or your portfolio page or your weddings page more in depth? Do you need to provide more information? People who stay on your website longer are more likely to contact you because they've invested time in getting to know you and getting to know your business. So your time on site should be a healthy number. If people are only hanging out for 20 seconds, 30 seconds, it's really not enough time for them to get to know you well enough for them to click that contact now button. So that's your website. Number two place we want to audit within your marketing audit is social media, of course. If you set goals last year or last quarter for your social media channels, now is the time to refer back to those goals to see if you reached them or not. And what I want you to ask yourself is, why did you set these goals? Did you set impactful business goals, or did you create arbitrary numeric goals like grow my Instagram following by 300 people? I need to know, and so do you. Do you have goals for social media that are impactful to your business? So if you set goals and you reach those goals or didn't reach them, how did that impact your business, or did it at all? So let me ask you this. If you did set numeric goals, and I'm not saying that's wholly bad. Those are pretty arbitrary. If you did set a growth goal like grow my Instagram followers by 300 and you didn't meet that goal, did that impact your business? Can you make a direct correlation between not growing your Instagram by 300 followers and not booking the amount of weddings you wanted to? And similarly, I'll ask you the same question. If you set a goal like that and you did reach it, Can you make a direct correlation saying to yourself, I grew my Instagram by 300 followers and I directly booked 5 more weddings from it? That's an important piece of information to know, because if you cannot make that direct correlation, the goal isn't helpful to you. You want to make goals that you can measure, right? There's an acronym, the SMART goals: specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time-bound. Hopefully I got that acronym right. I didn't write it down in my notes. But measuring those goals and being able to make those direct correlations is what's really going to help you understand if the goals you've created are impactful to your business or not. Are they impacting your bottom line in the positive, right? Are they helping you stay in the black? Are they impacting your profit? Do they help your team grow? Are they helping your brand become more aware? Are people becoming more aware of your brand in your local area? How are you measuring that? I want you to create goals you can measure. So here's a couple of things to look for as you go through this social media audit within the marketing category. Do a thorough exam of each social media channel you're using in your wedding business and determine how that social media channel is impacting your business. Here's a couple of questions you can ask yourself. Does Instagram refer paying clients to your business? Does Instagram refer paying clients to your business? Or is it just a place where other vendors follow you and you interact with other vendors on Instagram? That's okay. I'm not saying that's wrong, but determine what Instagram versus Facebook versus anything else does for you. Do you have a consistent Pinterest strategy that you're implementing to drive traffic to your website? And what I mentioned earlier is, if you do or do not, why do you have that strategy? If you're planning on ever selling digital or e-commerce products, Pinterest should definitely be on the top of your list, and you should be driving traffic to your own website. I mentioned earlier that I do have a Pinterest strategy, but it's not for booking clients at my wedding venue. It's for selling our physical and digital products that are coming up and to drive traffic to our podcast, right? So understand why you're using the social media channel that you're using and what it's for. Is Facebook completely dead for your business and no business comes from there? Is the last time you posted to Facebook 2018? I'm kidding about that. Hopefully it wasn't. But, sometimes that happens for me. And I'll tell you why. Instagram refers paying clients to my wedding venue. Facebook also refers paying clients to my wedding venue, not as many as Instagram. But what I know about Facebook for us is that it's actually more of a way that local people who are not our ideal client get to know us. They see us on Facebook, they like our pictures, they share them. We kind of get referrals that way, but it's really a place for local people who are not our ideal client to stay up to date with us, which is still important to me. And so we still keep our Facebook up, but it has a different strategy than Instagram. Understand what your strategy is for each of those channels. There's not a wrong answer to these questions. This is not like a right or wrong test. The real answer for your business is the one that's going to inform you about the action steps you should be taking going forward when it comes to your social media strategy. So the truthful answer is the right answer for you. There is no right or wrong here. If you don't have a Pinterest strategy, that's okay. Maybe you don't need to book clients from Pinterest. But if you want to create a digital product, or you want to grab a lead magnet from my pro shop and drive traffic to that lead magnet so people opt in, so you can start to collect email addresses so that you can then sell digital products to those people, well, then maybe you need to have a Pinterest strategy, right? Those are just things I want you to think about. What I've noticed, and I know you guys feel this way too, the conversation around social media for business really feels like it goes in extremes. We either love it or we freaking hate it, right? And I kind of want us just to challenge that trope today and every day. And really, can we just start seeing social media for what it is in its most basic form? It is a free way to connect with people, provide helpful content to other humans, and to promote your business. Nothing more, nothing less. I know that there's a lot of nuances when it comes to social media. We have influencers and blah, 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 blah. But if you kind of get your mind back on your own business, stay in your own lane, put the blinders on, and see social media for what it is, a free way to connect with people, provide helpful content to other humans, and to promote your business, I think you'll have a lot healthier relationship with it. Don't forget that it's a free way to connect with people, have conversation. I think that we can get away from this love or hate relationship with Instagram, with Facebook, with TikTok, with Snapchat, and we can just say, this is what I'm going to use it for. Nothing more, nothing less. I'm not trying to be the next famous, Instagram influencer. I'm trying to grow a business and a legacy for my family and move on. Honestly, there has never been a more democratic way to promote your business than social media. Yes, a lot of them are pay to play. That's a whole nother conversation. But in truth, the time was coming, right? There's never been a better time in the world than to promote your business. We are advertising on the same places that Pepsi is advertising. That's a big deal. And that it hasn't always been that way, you guys. There's only ever been back in the day, only a handful of people could afford to advertise. And that's just not us. So let's get off of the trope of pay to play. I hate Instagram. I hate Facebook. I hate all the things. And let's just see it for what it is, right? Here's an action step. After you analyze this data from your social media, here's what I want you to do. Pick the top 2 or 3, whatever you can handle. If it's 2, make it be 2. That's okay. You don't have to do everything at once. Pick the top 2 or 3 social media channels that are performing the best for you, and AKA that are converting clients. I'm going to say it one more time. Pick the top channels, 2 or 3, that's it, that are performing the best for you. And what I mean by performance is that they are converting to paying clients, and create a marketing strategy for those channels only. It doesn't mean you should improve the other channels that aren't performing for some time in the future. I love you to dig a well before you're thirsty. But right now, today in this audit, set those aside and put your energy into the 2 or 3 that are growing your business. And then we can look at the other ones later down the road. Let's talk about paid advertising within this marketing audit. This is quick. List out each paid advertising platform you pay for. Is it the Knot, Wedding Wire, any regional directories, any print publications, any paid social media that you're doing, Instagram ads, Facebook ads, Pinterest ads, LinkedIn ads, any paid social or paid traffic, any Google ads that you're paying for, wedding shows. This is all paid advertising. List them out. Write down a nice list so that you can see right in front of you. Again, I like you to get tactile here. You can see everything that you're paying for. Here's what I want you to look for. Which platforms performed the best for you and converted clients? If something didn't convert well, or is at least promising and it deserves more testing, you need to get rid of it. Or if something you need to take out of your marketing strategy completely because it sucks, where can you put those funds? You want to save those funds for hiring more contractors to help you on the weekends? Or do you want to divert them to another paid marketing platform that's totally crushing it and you want to invest more funds into that? That's something I want you to decide about these paid platforms. How can you improve your directory listings? Don't just poo-poo your directory listings. Do you need to improve them? Do you need to update your pricing brochure, your photos? Did you get on the Knot or Wedding Wire or a regional directory and never touch it again? And then you kind of wag your finger and shame them because they're not driving traffic to you? Is it you? That's a real question. Somebody posted the other day in a Facebook group and she just said, the Knot's not working for me. It's terrible. I'm paying over $200 a month. And I went and I looked at her profile, and I mean this with all the love in my heart, but honestly, her photos were crap. And I didn't know who her ideal client was because there were so many photos and they were all totally random and it was completely different weddings. And I in my mind, I wasn't thinking, oh, wow, she can do a lot of different stuff. In my mind, I was actually thinking, I don't even know if she'd be able to do my wedding because none of these are my personal style. And so I would just go look at someone else. She didn't have any videos. It's 2020. You need to have some videos on your profiles. So something important to remember about directory listings is this: showcase your best work. This should be the best of the best of the best. If that's one wedding, great. One mistake I see my clients making is posting all the photos all the time, like this lady did, because you think quantity is more important than quality. It's not. If you have one wedding that is absolutely stunning, and that one wedding was your ideal client, and you want to do more weddings like that because the budget was amazing, because the decor was beautiful, because the vendors were just absolutely unparalleled, post photos of that wedding only, my friends, and post as many as you can. Quality is better than quantity every single time. If you have one quality wedding or two quality weddings, that is better than saying, oh, I'm going to post everything I have because I'd rather them see 50 pictures than 25. Not okay. You need to focus on quality. If you love that one wedding and you want more couples, why wouldn't you want people to see that wedding? Yeah? Think about that. Go look at your directories. I challenge you. Look at your directories. What are your descriptions like? Are they terrible? Do you need to redo them? Do you need to hire a copywriter to do some descriptions for you? Again, your pricing brochure, is that old? Do you have any videos? Take a peek. Give the directories what they're looking for so that they can serve up your ad, they can serve up your listing. And when people land on it, what they see is on you. It's not on the directory. What they see is on you. And you know that I've encouraged you to really understand whether or not paid directories work for you or not. If they don't, great. Don't bother with them. But if they do, then what kind of tweaks and changes can you make for better conversions, both on directory listings, on your paid ads? Test, right? Do you have changes or updates you want to make to your wedding show setup or your process? I know not a lot of people, this is kind of similar to paid advertising and directory listings. They love or they hate wedding shows. And honestly, I think wedding shows are for some people and are not for other people. I think you can do well at wedding shows if you are a certain type of vendor. I don't personally do any wedding shows right now. That's not to say we never will ever, but right now it's not what I'm focused on and I feel really good about that. It's just not what I want to spend my money on. But if you have success at wedding shows, keep doing that. Keep doing what's working. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't let people tell you, wedding shows are so 2003. Don't let people tell you that. If you're booking clients from wedding shows, you get out there and do wedding shows because that's your thing. And I'm high-fiving you and encouraging you all the way. But do you want to change your setup? Do you want to change your process? Do you want to change your follow-up process? You know, we all like to do a giveaway so that we can collect names and numbers and email addresses. What's your follow-up process like that? For those people? Here's a tip. If you're going to do a wedding show, do a giveaway. Do a coaching package. If you're a photographer, if you're a wedding planner, if you're a venue owner, a calligrapher, a floral designer, doesn't matter. Do a coaching package. 15 minutes, doesn't have to be long. Do a free coaching package on your specific skill set in the industry. So if I was a wedding venue owner, I would say 15-minute wedding planning or wedding venue search consultation or what have you, coaching. Use the word coaching because it helps people like, oh, she wants to help me. What should we do, right? I don't care if they book with me. I just want them to have a good experience for their wedding. It's their wedding, you guys. Do a coaching giveaway. When people enter that giveaway, you can give that coaching session to all of those people. Surprise! You don't have to give it to just one person because you only have one physical product. So you can tell everyone that they won. Or you can tell 10 people that they won. You don't just have to give one thing away because you decided to give away like one Kate Spade product. And you're like, I don't want to buy 10 of those. But if you're giving something that's going to actually help people, that's still free, and all it requires is your time, you can give more than one away, which will put you in touch with more than one person. And for the rest of the people who didn't win, if you decide not to give it to everyone, which that's okay. What if you get 300 people? Maybe pick 10, pick 20. I don't know. For the rest of the folks, drop them into your email system and send them a digital product that's still going to help them. You can email them and say, hey, Kinsey, Sally here. You didn't win the free coaching package, but I didn't want to send you away empty-handed. Here is a custom wedding planning checklist to help you on your planning journey. If I can be of any assistance with your photography, with your calligraphy, blah, 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 insert what you do in the industry here, please let me know. Wishing you the absolute best in your wedding. Warmly, Sally. That's all you have to say. You know where you can get a custom wedding planning checklist? From the pro shop. Holla at your girl, right? How easy would that be? And how many more responses would you get instead of just giving away one physical thing because you decided, again, to give away just one product? That's something that you could do to refresh your wedding show process. How do you feel? How are we feeling? All right. I'm going to go through the rest of this a little bit faster. I know we've spent a lot of time on marketing, but you know how I feel about marketing. It's my sweet spot. So let's talk about your admin. And I'm not a total professional on all of these things, but I think I know enough to be dangerous and to help you with this. So let's talk about your admin. Let's talk about client management system. Evaluate how you're managing your clients right now and determine if that's working for you and for your business. And here are a few questions to ask yourself to help you make that determination. Does client management feel organized with easy to follow steps? Does it feel organized? Does it feel like you have easy to follow steps and you could do it in your sleep, or somebody in your team could do it in their sleep? Can you easily locate client documentation and communication when needed? This is one of those kind of example questions I asked you at the beginning. Do you always feel like you're, quote, looking for something? Like, oh man, was that a text message? Was that a DM? Was it an email? I don't know. Can you easily locate client documentation and communication when you need it? Do you have documentation in place that shares your client management workflow so it would be easy to pass off to a team member? This is something I'm working on right now. I can't wait to share it with you guys. Do you have documentation in place that shares your management workflow so it would be easy to pass off? We should all have that, even if you don't have a team yet. Are there any changes you can make to your onboarding, your offboarding process to make things easy for your clients? Where did you hit snags last year or last quarter that could be mitigated in the future by adding or taking away? Sometimes more is just more and you don't need it. By adding or taking away something from your on or offboarding process. Again, with a client in mind. Have you automated as much of your CRM as you can? If not, do you have the bandwidth to implement the automations yourself, or should you hire someone to do it for you like Annie McCarty? And you can check out her interview on the podcast. I'll put it in the show notes. Annie's awesome. She's doing a bunch of implementation for Vista View events this year. And I am thoroughly overjoyed. I cannot wait. I've done a lot of automations in our business and I'm proud of what I've been able to do, but I just don't have the bandwidth anymore and I need to pass it off. So I'm going to pass it off to Annie and I cannot wait. I'm going to share that with you guys in an episode so you can decide maybe if it's for you or not too. So final thought on client management, your client management system. I know I talked a lot about automations and all of that, but understand that it does not have to be something like Dubsado or Honeybook or 17 Hats or insert the CRM system here that is a monthly fee. If you're doing just fine with spreadsheets and Google Docs and email, then keep on keeping on. You keep going with that. You use the system that works for you. That's the important thing. As long as it's organized, and it's useful and it doesn't hold you back at all, there is literally no rule anywhere that says you have to use a CRM like Honeybook or Dubsado to be successful. Do I use Dubsado? Yes, I do. I love it. But it doesn't mean that there's a lot of people out there who do not, and they are more successful than I am and more successful than you, right? So just do what works for you. Don't let me talk you into Dubsado if you're like, oh no, girl, I have got it with my spreadsheets and my Google Docs and my Gmail email account. Holla, I'm into that. Automation. I love the word automation. Quick tip. I believe wholeheartedly in high touch automation in your wedding business, and I hope you do too. Really, high touch automation is just a fancy way of saying, please automate what you can, meaning like repeatable, mundane tasks and take those off your plate, but don't try to replace human contact with your clients. All right. So automate those repeatable, mundane tasks nobody wants to do. Ain't nobody got time for that. But don't try to automate or replace human contact with clients or with vendors, because it's really important that we have face-to-face relationships. High touch automation. Are there areas in your business that you've automated successfully? Give yourself a hand clap. Auditing your business isn't just about like, oh man, I suck in all these areas and I need to improve all of this. It's also about giving yourself a pat on the back where you've done well. If you have, do a really quick check to just ensure those automations are still running. I know that somebody mentioned to me, they sent me an email, which was so nice of them. They said, hey, your wedding contact button is working on your website, but your event contact button isn't working, because I have two different automations for like weddings versus regular events. And I was like, oh, it's not working. Thank you so much for telling me that. So just make sure those automations are running smoothly. Test your buttons, test links, all the things, right? Here's a few automations you might have that I want you to check. Your scheduling software. My favorite is Acuity Scheduling. Please use it if you're not. There's another one called Calendly. Not nearly as awesome. No offense if you're using Calendly. I'm just kidding, you guys. Use whatever you want. But your scheduling software, how's that working for you? Workflows in your CRM system. Again, I use Dubsado. If you're just using spreadsheets and things and you're like, oh, I love my spreadsheet system, but I would love more automation, check out a tool called Zapier. Zapier can connect things like spreadsheets, Google Docs. Whenever someone contacts you, then do this thing. So check out Zapier. And that is a paid tool, but if you don't want to get into the whole CRM system and you really like how you're doing with spreadsheets and stuff, Zapier might be a cool tool to look into. Subscriptions. Do you have any subscriptions you want to take a peek at? I'll talk a little bit more about this in the finances portion, but I know a lot of subscriptions are automated payments now, so you just want to take a peek of those. Renewal of your domain name, that's usually automated. If it's not, make sure that it is. It's so easy to do. Go into wherever you get have your URL purchased from, whether it's GoDaddy, Bluehost. I get all mine from Namecheap.com, and just make sure your renewal of your domain name is going to happen on an automated fashion. Any automated bills in your business? Are you automatically paying any bills every month? And then, of course, I already said this, contact forms on your website, contact forms. Maybe you have some contact forms within your email signature. That's another automation I want you to take a peek at. If you have an email signature that has links in it that take people to your website, to your contact form, to your social media handles, check your email signature and make sure all of those links are still working. And then if you do have some automations, but you might need to add a little bit more high touch, what can you do? So for instance, I have an automated email that goes out to any client that books a tour with us. But of course, the tour is in person, right? So that's, for me, is high touch. So you can automatically schedule a tour on my website. You automatically get an email with a bunch of tips and directions. And then when I get to the tour, it's going to be me though. You're going to see a real person. You're not going to just say, oh yeah, go up and walk around whenever you want to. We're high touch automation. That's kind of an example. And then finally, in your admin portion of this, what about your employees or your contractors, your part-time employees, anybody who works for you on the weekends? Do you need to update or create an employee onboarding and training process? Even if you hire event day only help, having an efficient and really well thought out way to onboard them and train them in how your business functions really will save you kind of a lot of time and really potential anxiety during event days. I would rather say to my weekend staff, you are in charge of tables today, and then they go and just run with it and they get all of the tables done, then have them come to me 16 times to say, where are the linens? Where are the centerpieces? Are we using chargers today? How should I set up the chairs at this table? Should I push them in? Should I leave them lightly touching the linens? Can you imagine? Yes, ask me questions. That's what I'm here for. I'm not saying don't talk to me, but if these things if what I'm trying to say is if there are things that just happen automatically and it's irrelevant, the customization of that event is irrelevant, and everything, their part of their piece of the pie that they're in charge of is something that is consistent throughout all wedding days, you should have a process for that, right? So some things you might want to consider updating or creating: employee handbook, new employee agreements. Maybe you want to do some sales training, so creating a slide deck. Maybe you want to do some event day training for new staff, so creating a slide deck for that. Any other training videos, maybe you want to create some training videos in your CRM and you want to pass those off to a VA that you're hiring this year. So think about those things. How are you paying your employees and your contractors? Do you need to update that process at all? Does that feel good? Does that feel organized? Do they know exactly what to expect? They've signed an employee agreement. They know how much they make. They know when they get paid. They're not like texting you at 11 p.m. after a wedding saying, hi, when are you going to pay me? Because they already know when they're going to get paid. I'm not an employment attorney. I'm not an accountant. I'm not any of those things. So please contact your local attorney, your local accountant, CPA, all the things when it comes to following state employment laws, paying people appropriately, and all of that. But just something I want you to think about as you're going through this process and auditing how you take care of your employees. Let's talk about your finances. I want you to sit down and say, do I feel in control when it comes to my business finances? Ask yourself that question. Do I feel in control when it comes to my business finances? Do you need to hire a bookkeeper? Do you need to start creating a profit and loss statement each month? Should you open more checking accounts to help you feel more organized with where your money is going? This is kind of a profit first method, and I've mentioned the profit first book on the podcast before. Here's an example. Would it help you visually and mentally and in an organizational perspective to have 3 bank accounts? One for profit, where you're paying yourself and your employees out of. One for expenses. This is what you run your business out of. You don't touch this. And one for investor payout. I added that one in because I'm a wedding venue and I pay investors every year. Is there something else you could add a bank account for? So every time you collect money from your couples, you know what percentage is going into profit account, expense account, investor payout account. You know what percentage of that payment. Would that be helpful to you? I don't know. Do you need to cancel any business subscriptions? We kind of talked about this, and I said I would mention again. I gather a lot of subscriptions. I think I talked about this last year too. I'm a gatherer of subscriptions throughout the year, and well, gosh, it's terrible. Do you need to cancel any? I know I do. Do you need to cancel things that are not serving your business, that are kind of just like holes that are draining money? $59 here, $12 here, $10 here. Oh, it's only $7.99. I'm going to get that. That's me. So go through all of your subscriptions and see what you need to cancel. Think back to your marketing audit. What paid advertising opportunities are working for you that more money should be allocated to? I kind of mentioned this already. What opportunities are not working at all? Those opportunities need to be canceled so that money can be saved or diverted to another opportunity that is working better. And if you don't have one already, here's my final tip for finances. And this is short because I am not a financial guru. If you don't have one, I would encourage you to pay for 1 or 2 hours of a CPA or a bookkeeper's time. Do a bookkeeper to get some professional insight on what you should be doing every month in your business. If you cannot afford to retain a monthly bookkeeper right now, and that is okay because not everyone can, that's okay. If you can't afford to retain a bookkeeper right now, doing a 2-hour consultation, pay them for 2 hours of their time. Get a list of things you should be doing, a step-by-step list of things you should be doing every month in your business. And that time will feel so invaluable to you. You'll know exactly what you should be doing, when, where, how, and you will feel so much more confident and in control of your finances. All right, final audit, event day. We're going to audit your event day. How does event day prep and execution feel to you? I have a little alarm there. Is it organized and seamless? Does everyone know what they're doing on an event day? Do you know? Does your team know? Does the couple know? Your clients? Do the parents know? Do the aunts and uncles who are helping? Anything? Does everyone know what they're doing? How are you communicating with people? Do you have a pre-event and post-event checklist that's a step-by-step process that everyone on your team can follow? If not, now's a great time to create that. Examples of something that might be on your checklist: packing your event day bag, restocking the event day bag or tub, prepping your venue for weddings, cleaning up your venue after weddings, what to do with photos after a wedding, how you edit photos, when do you send those to your editor? If you're a calligrapher, when you ask for a review, or anyone, right? Floral designer, what's your post-event day checklist in your studio? What's cleanup like? Do you pick up anything the day after at the venue? Do you pick up buckets? Do you pick up vases? Whatever it is, what does that look like for you? Document that process so that you could hand someone a pre-event checklist and say, follow this step by step, and go off with you and do it. All right. Do you have a process for how to handle event day emergencies? Now, an emergency, by the very nature, is something that comes up randomly. And so I know we can't account for everything, but common emergencies should totally have a process to follow. There's common emergencies that can happen. What do you do if the groom forgets his vows? What do you do if the bride forgets her ring in her hotel room? Excuse me. Right? Make a process for that. That way your team knows how to handle it and they're going to look like total pros. I'm going to cough. Hold on. Okay. Do you have an event day social media plan and policy? Now, this could go into your employee handbook and your employee agreement, but you should totally have an event day social media plan and policy that your team and you can follow so that you guys are, one, being professional on the event day and people aren't just hanging out on their phone all day, but also, two, you're capitalizing on the background scenes of being a wedding professional because people eat that up. Right? So have a plan for this, have a policy in place, again, so that you could say, hi, Sally, you are now in charge of our social media plan for the day. Here's everything you need to know. And Sally can take it and run with it because she already knows how to use Instagram. Good job, Sally. How do you feel? I am so excited for you guys to audit your business and to redo anything you need to do, or to, my goodness, take time to celebrate yourself and your team for everything you accomplished last year or last quarter. Because even if you go through this audit and you're like, oh man, I want to change this, I want to change that, I want to add this, that's okay. That's what I did. I was like, oh man, there's a lot of things I want to update. But I know that I still did a good job last year or last quarter, and I know you did too. So I really want you to take time to celebrate yourself. Auditing your business, it's not easy. It can feel tedious at times. It can feel a little bit draining, especially if you get into a section where, like me, you wanted to make a lot of changes. Sometimes you kind of beat yourself up a little bit, and I don't want you to do that. I promise if you commit to this audit, you at least once a year, please do it quarterly, please, but at least once a year, you're going to see positive changes in yourself, in your business, in your team. And what's more important to me is that you're going to feel confident in your business and you're going to feel in control. You guys, I hope you have the best 2020 or the best year or the best quarter that's ahead for you, depending on when you're listening to this. I am here for you. I'm here to support you. I can't wait to share with you what's ahead for She Creates Business, but I just want to take a second to thank you. I don't know why I'm getting so emotional right now. Holy cow. I just want to thank you so much. We're going into our 4th year of podcasting, and I audit both my venue business and the podcast. And every time I audit the podcast, I always come back to you guys because you're the reason that I am here, that I get to do this. And I just want to thank you so much. You mean everything to me. I'm excited for your business this year. Take me through this audit. Tell me how it goes for you. Share it with me on Instagram. I'm at She Creates Business. Until next time, thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you so much for listening to She Creates Business. Please take a minute and head to iTunes to leave an honest review so we can help more wedding pros find the show.